Wait, just a test run.
Let me ru-
El Shaddai, El Shaddai. Do you know the rest of it, Pastor?
algo,
El Adon.
algo así.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this session of The Power of Coaching. I have none other than Pastor David Gomez from the beautiful island of Galveston. Come
Yes.
on. Give it up for him there where you are. We're excited that you're here all the way from, what's the town that you were born in?
I was born in La Mesa.
La Mesa.
We call it La Mesa, but it's La Mesa.
La Mesa, Texas,
La Mesa,
now in
Texas.
the beautiful island of Galveston.
From a country, small town to the beautiful island of Galveston.
Beautiful island. Everything you're doing there is great. I've personally witnessed what you guys are doing and building there at the church. It's incredible. Today specifically, we want to jump straight into it, but we want to talk about the power of coaching. We want to talk about what it means to be coached, and we're going to get straight into it. Before I do that, I want to tell you I'm doing this interview, I'm doing this session because I saw the power of coaching in my life. I've seen from when I started the coaching to now how beautiful it's been, how I've progressed in my finances, in my marriage, in my church, in my ministry. And I thought, you know what? I need to do a session where I'm talking to pastor and hearing exactly what coaching is.
Correct.
One of the biggest misconceptions is that coaching is mentorship.
No, it's not.
There's some little ties into
Yes,
that,
yes,
but in
yes,
reality, it's a totally different thing.
It's totally different than mentorship and counseling.
Totally different than mentorship and counseling. Yes. So I want to jump straight into it. And first of all, we've introduced you already, Pastor, but talk to us about, how your journey was to even getting into coaching.
Okay.
And if you could share a little bit about the benefits of coaching, and I'll also share as well.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to be here. I will say you were the first one to sign up for me to start coaching.
I didn't know that. Awesome.
You were the first one when I called you and I said, "Hey, would you like to be coach?" You said, "Hey, let's jump on it." You didn't inquire what is it about, what do I have to do.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, you said so. It's been a journey and it's been fun. Believe me, I love coaching you because it's fun.
That's awesome.
And the other thing, I've seen how it has benefited you.
Yeah.
Because you have worked on the action steps that we come up with every week.
Oh, I love the action steps.
Well, my journey, I've been a Christian for 38 years. And I've been in ministry a little bit over 30. I've been a Christian 38, so I've been in ministry about 34 years.
Wow.
35 years. I've been in pastoring Galveston for 30 years. And last year, I've always been very inquisitive. As a kid growing up, I've always liked to learn.
Sure.
And I know God wanted me to do so much more, not only in me, but to help other
others, yeah.
young pastors. So last year, 2020, when COVID hit, I decided that I was going to work on myself. So there was two things. I mean, I can go into detail, but there was two things that I invested in. And this is where my journey started. I decided to invest in seeking out a professional counselor.
Wow.
He's a PK. He's a pastor's kid, and he's a professional trained counselor. So I met with my counselor for 11 months, from February to December.
Mm-hmm.
So counseling is all about discovering what happened in your past and discussing so you can go on with your life. So counseling usually deals with things from your past, things you're holding on to. So that was very eye-opening, created a lot of self-awareness in me. But at the same time, I decided that I wanted to be trained to be a life coach. I didn't know what it meant. So by not only going through a training of being a life coach, I actually had to be also coached by someone. So not only was I going through a training, but I actually had to be coached.
Right.
So being coached myself, I saw a big transformation in my life. And so that's how my journey started.
That's
Last
incredible.
year, I had been investigating about it for 3 years, but it cost. So I said, I don't know if I want to go into this. I don't know, but God put it in my heart that in my next season of life, that's what I want to do.
love it.
I want to coach young pastors,
Yeah.
young entrepreneurs. I'm coaching not only right now young entrepreneurs, but I want to help young men.
Yeah.
Not only in their calling,
Yeah.
but discover everything that God has for them, and that's what it is.
Incredible. I love it because one of our first coaching sessions, I remember that we went straight into it. You know, like he said, I didn't really know what coaching was. I mean, I've been in sports and I played
Yeah.
basketball and stuff like that. So I know in essence the relationship with the coach, but I didn't know what it was going to look like in ministry, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I wrote down, I had a list, and I have them right here actually, a list of questions for Pastor David. Well, what did you do when you want to quit? I mean, I had my list because I assumed what coaching was, but in reality, it was about me.
Coaching is not a.
It wasn't
exactly.
about you. It wasn't about the coach.
Yes.
It was about the player.
Exactly.
It was about bettering the player and letting the player figure out the plays.
Exactly.
Hey, I've given you some guidance here, but you need to figure it out. What does it mean to you? And I figured that at the first session. Hey, man, this is really about me.
Exactly.
It's raw. It's open. I need to walk through some things. And you direct me to scripture, obviously, but I loved that the pressure was put on me because that's what a good coach does. When we think of a good coach, we think of Phil Jackson, right? That coached Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. I mean, most of the time, Phil Jackson was like this during the games. He already had put the pressure behind the scenes.
Yeah, I already coached him.
Already had coached him. So it's time to play.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that a little bit, the importance of putting the pressure on the person, and it's good pressure. It's not bad. It's good pressure that caused me. I mean, there was times you would say, Abe, what are some scriptures that we could think of
I didn't
about
give.
pride?
I would not give you,
You would
the
not
script.
give me the scriptures. You would ask me.
I didn't know him. That's why.
And it challenged me in so many ways, and a lot of us need to be challenged. And coaching got me out of another comfort zone that I didn't even know I was in. In ministry, we think, I'm not in a comfort zone. I get to preach. I get to lead. I get to serve people. That's hard in itself. I know, but there's another level. And a good coach brings the best out of you. And I love it because, I mean, I have some we talked about everything, and we're going to go over it just a little bit here, but coaching itself, like I said, isn't mentorship. It's separate. It's completely different. It's really about, let me not tell you what I did wrong.
Exactly.
You figure it out. Let me let you figure it out. That's a good coach. Pride, communication, how to say no, conflict, leading people through difficult seasons, rest. I mean, those are some of the big ones for me.
Yeah.
That I go back to my little
Notebook.
look. It's
Notepad.
falling apart. This is my coaching sessions notebook right here. And people look at me like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Hold on, give me 1 minute. Let me read through rest really quick. Make sure, guys. I'm telling you something. It's been important for you to be in my life in this way. The intentionality behind me getting prepared.
Yeah.
I mean, what I love the most is that we don't just talk.
No.
You send me a form and you say, "Hey, Abe, can you tell me some things? What have you progressed in?
Yes.
What do you want to focus on today?" So intentional. Talk to me about that. How you've seen in me, really. I mean, the benefits of being that intentional about our conversations, about everything else. So,
One of the things I love about coaching was this: the organization that I was coached through. It was a Christian organization, and I loved it because from the first session, they taught us that coaching is not about the coach; it's a person we're coaching. And the second thing I loved about it was this: he goes, "We were trained as pastors to try to preach to people and tell people what to do.
right?
Coaching does not do that. So when I come to a session,
Wow.
I really don't have to come with all the answers because I don't know the answers. They taught us that the coach does not know the answers. There's two people that knows the answers. It's the Holy Spirit that's in you, that's in me. He knows you better than yourself. I don't know. I didn't know Abe Guajardo until 6 months ago. I mean, I've known you, but I had never met you. So they taught us that
Right.
I don't have to have all the answers. as a pastor, I thought I had to have the answers when someone would come to me with questions, with problems.
So much relief.
Exactly. So when I come to a session,
Yeah.
I don't come worried. What am I going to tell him? No. That's why I send you that form.
Yes.
So basically, what coaching is, this is what a typical session would come up with. I would send you a form,
Yep.
and the form is, what progress have you made from our last session?
From my last session. Yep.
That you are going to articulate, you're going to share with me, because I want to see it in paper.
Yeah.
And that builds accountability, not only by you writing in paper, and not so much that I need to come prepared, but I do come prepared when I meet with you,
Absolutely.
because I want to see the progression that you've made and to celebrate with you,
Yeah.
because that's the biggest things. For many years, we've always been focused on, I haven't changed, I haven't done this, but no one taught us to celebrate even small wins.
That's it. You know, Pastor, I want to interrupt you a little bit
Go
because
ahead.
I never really
This is not about me, this is about you.
And that's one thing I want to encourage you if you're watching. Find a coach. We're introducing you to the method of coaching, right? Like I said, I was in sports, so I was familiar with the terminology, but in ministry, I don't know what that looked like. It's been the best thing that could have happened to me in 32 years, literally. 32 years. I've been in church. I've heard the best, been to the best conferences, the best communicators. I've been around everybody. Parents are pastors, but coaching really just put the attention on me that I'm like, man, I got to deal with that. Yeah. Man, I got to figure that out, man. And when I do that, when I'm healthy, which I learned this in coaching, everybody around me is healthy.
Exactly.
When I'm healthy, my marriage is healthy. When I'm healthy, the people I lead are healthy. And I love that about coaching, the importance of coaching. I was going to say something else specifically on that, but I love that you have taken a chance on me as well. You were also coaching me, but you allowed me to preach at your church. Mm-hmm. That really just kind of, every time I would see you, you would say, hey, I trust you. I commend you. Man, words like that from a coach, we all know if you've had a coach ever.
They're in your face.
Woo, a commend you will really push you to the next, I remember one day my coach specifically told me in basketball, he said, Abe, you did great today. Oh my gosh, that just really, it made me try even harder. It made me say, you know what, I want to work harder. And every time you've done that to me, it makes me challenge myself. Yeah. So I also want to, thank you for that, for always commending me and thanking me, because in reality,
I'm just trying to encourage you to celebrate. Not only you,
yes,
but I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate
the small things.
Yes.
We would come to a session to talk about, well, what is we have this. Maybe you could explain it here in a bit, but we would draw these things out of
a mind map.
The mind map. The mind map is the most incredible thing. Here's an example of it. You can't see it from there, but I'll post them later. And
it just helps you to find out what you need to discover, because sometimes we're linear.
Yes.
Our thinking is linear, and by creating a mind map, it helps you come up with ideas.
Mind maps have helped me navigate through some of the difficult seasons in my life. Yeah. And I would come to our coaching session saying, Pastor, today I want to talk about, I want to talk about a specific thing. I would write out the sentence. And at the end of the coaching session, we were able to determine, in reality, it wasn't humility, it was pride. Whoa, that was pride? And it kind of was.
And I was just
I figured it out.
And I just asked you a question.
That's what I loved about the coaching session. Yeah. That we came in with, I have humility and I want to do this. And then by the end of it, we're like, oh no, that was pride. So then the mind map was pride. So then we would draw out these things, which this is my favorite part about it. The action steps.
Talk
about the action steps and the power that there is in the action steps.
Okay. So let me go quickly and tell you what a coaching session. A coaching session is, first of all, the coach is going to listen to you. My job is not to try to tell you what to do. My job is to listen what you're saying and what you're not saying.
Wow.
The power is in listening and what you're saying and what you're not saying. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is I ask you questions. I just start asking you questions. Like the first time we met, You had these goals, but I asked you a question. Is there anything that you can think about from your past that could have affected you? And it was that, and there was in that one question
Wow.
that triggered a conversation. You said, wait a minute. Yes, there is. I wasn't counseling you,
Right.
but I just asked you a question. He said, yes, there is something. And you were able to go through
Wow.
a healing process by me asking you a question. That coaching session was not about that.
No.
So I listened to what you were saying, but also what you were not saying.
Wow.
So my training is to listen to you, to ask you questions,
Yep.
and then to encourage you.
That's good.
To encourage you. And then in this process, in asking you questions, the basic thing is, what do you want to talk about today? What would you want our conversation? What's the focus? Because I don't determine the focus. I gear you to where you want to. You lead me. I don't
Right.
lead you.
Yes, that's very true.
You lead
Yes.
me. I'm just gearing.
And we're so used to being led and mentored and, well, you tell me,
Yeah.
I'm a little person, you tell me.
No.
And this is really about
And see,
you.
and exactly what happens by me helping you, basically I help draw out those things that are already inside of you.
Yep.
With the help of the Holy Spirit, asking questions.
That's true.
And I just help you. And then basically in our conversation, I try to focus you, because as preachers, sometimes we want to give the whole history.
Yes.
And and honestly, I think during our coaching, I said, okay, I would like to hear that, but the point is, I don't need to hear
I
that.
don't need to hear that.
I
Yeah.
want to know where you want to go in the future. What do you want to do about it? So the mind map and the questions and my listening is simply, okay, let's come up with no more than 3 action steps.
Yeah.
How you can work, because the work comes and you put in those action steps. That's what transforms you.
That's what transforms.
That's what transfers you. So we can discuss any topic that you've worked on, and I will show you how those action steps transformed you.
Beautiful.
It was a conversation.
Yep.
It was a questions. It was me encouraging you. All of us need 4 people in our life. All of us need an encourager.
Encourager.
All of us need a challenger.
A challenger, okay.
I told the church this morning, it's not the car, so don't go buy a Hey, Pastor, I bought a challenger. No.
The challenger.
An encourager, someone that believes in us
Yeah.
and inspires us.
Mm-hmm.
A challenger is someone that is going to challenge us, move us from our comfort zone.
Yeah.
All of us need a confronter. I am not a confronter, but all of us need a confronter, because all of us have blind spots.
Right.
But the 4th person we need is, all of us need an accountability partner,
Accountability behind
because
it.
that accountability partner keeps us in check
That's awesome.
to the commitments. Not that I force you, but you yourself. Hey, say, I want you to keep me accountable.
Yes.
So coaching is about encouraging you, is about challenging you, and simply keeping you accountable. That's the problem with us.
Wow.
No one has encouraged us. No one has challenged us.
Yeah.
And if there are, but no one has kept us accountable. The action steps keep you accountable.
Keep you accountable.
Because I'm going to ask you in the next session, what progress have you made?
Yes.
And before we go on to another session, before we go on to another focus, we talk about the progress.
It was so beautiful, because there'd be times where I was in the car with my wife and we'd have a scenario, and I'd think to respond a certain way to a scenario.
We did a session on what, how, and when to say things.
Yes. When, how. That was one of the most incredible ones. Now I carry this with me, because wherever I am, if the scenario comes up, I take out my action steps and say, okay, let me make sure I'm doing these. It happened with my wife.
Now, see, that's important. You're reminding yourself action steps. I didn't tell you the action steps. We came up by asking you questions.
Yep.
I asked you, okay, Abe, what do you think are some things that you can do to
Yes.
improve or to grow in this area? And you start doing your mind map. These are things. Then once you write up your mind map, then I start gearing you. Okay, what do you think you can do in here? Because
Yep.
I don't tell you what to do.
You don't tell me. I see this, and I didn't know this prior. I always hear about LeBron James, and it feels like this whole podcast has been about about basketball players.
Can I share a story about basketball?
Yes.
The reason I love about coaching is because when I was a freshman in high school, I
Yeah.
had played baseball as a kid. I had played football. I had never played basketball as a team sport because of my height. I'm 5'6". So
I know you
usually-
can't tell here.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
you look a little bit
Yeah.
taller here.
But how tall are you?
5'11".
Okay, I'm 5'6". So, I didn't think I had what it took to be a basketball player because of my height. So my limitation was I'm not tall enough, and I have never played team sports or basketball. So I had played team sports but not basketball. So I went out and tried for the freshman basketball team of my high school. I made the team. Now, why did I make the team? Because my coach believed in me, inspired me. He saw something in me that I didn't see myself. To this day, I thank God for my coach, Wayne Roberts.
Well, you remember his name.
Yeah.
That's when you know.
Yeah, Wayne Roberts. I still 6 months ago I sent him a text to thank him because
Wow.
he saw something in me that I didn't see.
That's awesome.
He chose me, but not only did he choose me, it was in a 3-4 year process that he encouraged me that I could become better.
Yes.
So he was my biggest inspiration because he was the first person that saw something in me that I had never seen in myself. And that's what coaching, that's why I got into coaching.
That's it.
To help people, inspire them. Now, let me read you this quote. This is very powerful. Actually, this was in my notes, and I hadn't really never paid attention. But I want you to hear what Andy Stanley says about coaching. You know who Andy Stanley is?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Andy Stanley says this: you will never maximize your potential in any area without coaching.
Wow.
Notice what he says. You will never maximize
That's true.
your potential in any area without coaching. It is impossible.
Literally.
He says, you may be good. You may even be better than anyone else. But without input, you will never be as good as you could be.
I love that.
And that's what coaching is about.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk about LeBron James. We see a man that's been in the league now 17 years, and he looks better than ever. Not only is he getting coached and listens to coaches, even though he's a really good player, right? You can be really good, like Andy Stanley said. But the investment that he makes into his body,
He
makes.
doesn't not only have the basketball coach, he has a trainer. He has a coach that's helping him keep his.
So I've heard something around the lines of millions of dollars of investment into his body a year.
Yes.
I see coaching as an investment.
Exactly.
It really is something that you have to go out of your way to separate time with, right? And us leaders and pastors and business owners, we are busy, going every day, all day. But the investment of this, of stopping and getting coached, is one of the best things that has happened to me. I mean, talk about feeling on top of the world Sunday morning, and then Monday realizing there was pride there in the coaching session. And it's not to say that you didn't celebrate those, the small victories, but we needed to tackle what was that one thing. And that's what I love about it. We're at about 22 minutes now. Pastor, give us some last input on these coaching sessions. Now, I want to have these continued conversations about the power of coaching. That's what we've titled it today. And if you want to look for Pastor David, it's David Gomez, right, on Facebook.
Yes.
And on Instagram, what is it?
Pastor
or PD?
PG or something.
PD Gomez, 66.
66.
I got it.
But they can contact you, and if anyone.
Absolutely.
Last week, I'm coaching a young man. He's 30 years old. How old are you?
32.
Okay, he's 30 years old. He's been in the ministry for 10 years. He started off when he was 20.
Wow.
It's a young man that I met. He came to do a youth camp in Galveston with a different church. We let them borrow our facilities, and I met him. Okay. And that was about 3 years ago. And something about him drew my attention, and I just felt, I said, look, I don't know, you didn't come to preach at my church. You used our facilities, everything, but I just want to become your friend. You know, he goes, really? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I want to invite you to eat some. I took him out for breakfast before he left back to New Orleans. We became friends off and on for 3 years. Last year we went to a conference in Alabama. We stopped in New Orleans, ate with him. Actually he came to our church. I invited him. He's a good speaker.
Awesome.
God just told me to become his friend. That's it. When I started the coaching, I reached out to him like you. I think he became my third person that I'm coaching. So I've been coaching him since July, latter part of July. I started with you the 5th or the 6th of July. I started with him either late July or August. So last week, we did an inventory for the past 6 months. We reviewed where he's at in his coaching, where is he at. This is what he told me. Before coaching, no one had taught him the importance of investing and taking care of himself.
Wow.
So before coaching, before July, from a 0 to 10 and taking care of himself, he was below a 0.
Wow.
He didn't know how to take care of himself
physically,
doing exercise, eating better eating habits, but also spiritually and a lot of stuff.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing about us pastors. No one taught us how to take care of ourselves.
That's one of my biggest things is rest.
Yeah, exactly.
We've talked about that. Yes.
So in 6 months, he's about an 8 or a 9 in taking care of himself. He's grown. He's exercising every 3 days, every 4 days. His eating habits have improved. His marriage has improved. Overall, in 6 months, he's been in ministry for 10 years.
Right.
What he has not been able to do in 10 years, he has been able to start doing in 6 months.
In 6 months.
And that's what coaching is about.
I love it.
Is to help you grow faster, not by doing these little it's not a magic wand.
Right. Not at all.
It's not a magic
There's
wand.
work.
There's work. So the truth is this. I only work with people that want to invest and want to grow and put in the work.
That's it.
Because I can't do for you what you have to do for yourself.
Yes, sir. So
basically that's what it is. It's helping you discover where you want to grow, find the way how to grow there, and in 6 months he has grown. I've been coaching a couple because I coach couples on marriage, not because my marriage is perfect, but I love to help couples. So I started coaching a couple 2.5 months ago. They've been married. They've been together 5 years.
Right.
And I said, okay, what do you want to be coached about? They said, we want to be coached how to improve our communication as a couple and our finances. I said, okay, those are good topics, but which ones do you want to start first? Not because it's not about me, it's about them. He says, okay, we want to start first of all on improving our finances.
Right.
So asking questions, they say, you know what? We need to start first on improving our communication. So I didn't tell them.
Figure out which ones are the real ones to lead to that.
Exactly. So I didn't tell, okay, I could have told them, okay, let's start working on finances. I didn't go there. By asking them questions, they figure out. It led.
That's what I love about it.
We need to start working better on communication, because if we improve our finances, but we don't improve our communications, we're still back to ground. Okay? So last week I met with him. I said, okay, we've been coaching in 2.5 months. Let's talk about what you've improved in communication. From 0 to 10, where were your communication skills before we started coaching? And this is what they said. They said it themselves. Our communication skills before 2.5 months ago, and they've been together 5 months, we were at a 1, maybe at a 2. Okay, in 2.5 months. Now, they've been together 5 years. Okay, in 2.5 months, where have you grown? It says we're at 8, possibly at a 9 in our communication skills. Now, I just created an environment to listen to them, to ask them questions. They come up with the action plans. Part of their action plans was date nights for them. Because date nights, and then they would practice and how to communicate, what to do. And I was not in their date nights.
Right.
I was not in their conversations. It was in the coaching sessions that we came out by mind mapping. What are things that needed to improve? And they started improving. So now in 2.5 months, they're more in love. They're gonna start making more money, not because. The truth is this. Yesterday I heard John Maxwell says this: when we improve and we grow in our self-esteem, just by growing in our self-esteem, our ability to make money grows up.
Wow.
Not because we're going to get a raise,
Right.
but when you start seeing yourself more valuable, people start seeing
Seeing you as
your
valuable.
worth
That's good. That's good. That's the tip you can take today. For free.
for free.
That's for free. That's for you.
Yeah. So
I love it, Pastor. You know, like he said, you can follow him on Facebook, David Gomez, or you can reach out to me. But I endorse this 150% because I've seen what it did to my life and the change that it brought to every area of my life. If you're around me, if you've connected to me in any way possible, you've heard me talk about coaching. There's no way that you haven't, if you've been around me long enough, that you haven't heard me talk about the importance of coaching. I encourage you, friend, leader, pastor, business owner, get coached. And specifically by someone that is a spiritual person, someone that is a believer, someone that says, you know what, let's direct this back to Scripture.
Yeah.
So I love this session. Any last words, Pastor?
yeah, if you're a young pastor, if you're a young entrepreneur, if you want to work on your marriage, your finances, yourself, what I would offer is either they contact you. You have my direct cell number.
Yep.
What I do is I give them a free coaching session.
Yep.
That way they know what it is,
Yes.
and they feel I'm a fit for them.
Oh, yeah.
If they feel, and also I need to know they're a fit for me. Honestly, I discovered during this process, that's why I love coaching about you, is because you are proactive. Not only you're proactive, you do what you say you're going to do.
Right.
You come prepared. You have your notes. You're progressing. I honestly, one of the things they teach us in coaching is you don't want to work with someone that you're going to have to be pushing them. Oh, hey, remind them, hey, we got a coaching session. Have you done this? You want someone that it's a go-getter.
That's it.
We call them a hustler.
Yes, sir.
You're that kind of person.
I appreciate that.
And when I find people like that, I want to work with people that are fun, people that want to grow. So if that's you,
Come on.
I offer them a free coaching session. I pick their brain, and I help them. You
Yes.
know, and if they feel that they want to invest, then we go to the next step.
Let's do it.
It's a free session. So if any one of your contacts is interested,
Yep.
reach out to you.
You got it.
Reach out on me on Facebook, and we'll do it.
One of the biggest blessings in 2020, there was a lot of difficulties in that year, was being coached. That was one of the, I grew so much spiritually, emotionally. Actually, it helped my self-esteem in 2020 because we stopped leading, in essence, and gathering in with people and seeing people all the time. That's our life. That's what we do. We stopped doing that. But coaching, it was a year for me to work on that. And man, I excelled so much because we weren't gathering as much anymore. So I was able to just focus on myself. It was so, for me, it was one of the most perfect years, one of the most, for me, a year that I just grew in every area. I can look back, and I continue to coach with you.
Yeah.
It's not like I got everything figured out. I continue to say this is an investment that is necessary. I need it. Let's do it.
And that's what I want to conclude by thanking you, because when I finished my training, I had to work up 100 hours to be licensed certified. So I had to look for people that I could coach free.
Yeah.
And you were the first one I reached out to. I said, who needs coaching besides my son?
If you're watching, we love you.
So you were the first one I contacted.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you, because without you knowing, you helped me grow in my coaching skills. You not only accepted for me to coach you, but you accepted for me to record you so that my coach could evaluate my coaching. You remember that?
Yeah, I
Back,
do. Yep.
I think we either did one or two.
I mean, the two of them.
But you had, I asked you permission. So we recorded our session. I had to send it to my coach, and then he evaluated.
Yep.
The first time I didn't pass. I'm honest, because he said, you still trying to tell
you
him
did
what
tell
to
me.
do. Yeah. But I want you to do it again. And the last time I passed. Because not only did I go through the training, but I want to tell you thank you, because not only did you accept for me to start coaching you, but here in the past month, I asked you, hey, you want to continue on? And you jumped in and say, Pastor,
Yes, sir.
I want to continue.
We have to.
So I commend you, because that shows your heart, not only that you're going to continue to be a better leader, But honestly, thank you for your friendship, and thank you
got it.
for allowing me to coach you last year. I mean, you say that I was a blessing to you, but honestly, by you allowing me to coach you, it helped me
Yeah,
to develop my skills and to grow my skills. I'm still growing,
sure.
but I love coaching with you. So thank you.
I love it. It's the continued investment, you know. You're too kind, Pastor. Love you so much. I really do. Hey, if you were impacted by this, share it. You know, it's something that we want to share with others.
Yes,
It's the
definitely.
importance of coaching. It really is. Like I said, if you know me, if you're connected to me, that's why I did this, because I wanted you guys to see the importance. Like I said, if you've been around me, you've heard it before. There's power in coaching. There really is. And most of all, most importantly, there's power in the name of Jesus.
And thank you
Yes.
because this was your idea.
That's it.
And thank you because there's power. And this past Sunday at our church, I preached for 2 Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for us to become the best version of the person God wanted us to become.
That's it.
And you're becoming that, and I commend you.
Thank you,
Keep doing what
Pastor.
you're doing, and
Thank you.
for allowing us to be here. And
Thanks for watching, taking time. Like I said, share this, and we'll see you guys soon on the next session of The Power of Coaching.
to